Hey guys, it's KJ from the Scariest Movie Ever channel on YouTube. Now I recently saw something that was really crazy online, and this is a few days ago, and I haven't seen a whole lot of other people talking about it, so I wanted to share this with you, and it's a really strange connection between CERN and the Mandela effect. This has been a really hot topic lately. I see tons of videos coming out about this connection between CERN and the Mandela effect. And I'm not even sure where I stand on the Mandela effect myself 100%. I feel like some of the examples that are out there are legit. I mean, they definitely make me wonder, but that's just some of them. I've seen plenty of other examples coming out that I'm just not connecting with, and I can see the danger of something like this, of telling people, hey guys, there are these dimensional shifts taking place, our timelines are being moved around, so our reality is literally shifting. The kind of information we deal with in these communities anyway, it's already pretty weird and wild stuff as it stands. So to throw in this extra added angle of, hey, guess what? Your whole reality literally is melting all around you and changing from day to day. You never really know which one of your memories are correct and which ones aren't. You could easily see where this could lead to hardcore psychosis for some people, right? And personally, I'm already seeing that in a lot of this talk with Mandela effect, with some of the examples of it. Now that's just me, but then I saw this really strange connection between CERN and Mandela, and I want to share it with you and just see what you guys think about it. But before I do, we'll talk about a couple other things here real quick, because I do think all this stuff is tied in together. A lot of people have been asking me to do a video on the opening of the Gothard tunnel in Switzerland. I'm telling you, man, as soon as I saw this story, I was planning on doing a video, and I was kind of looking at it and doing a breakdown, but within 24 hours of me seeing the story myself for the first time, there were dozens and dozens of videos online about the tunnel opening, about its connection with the occult and the Illuminati, Satanism, you know, whatever, right? But it was out there. Lots of people were tackling this. And I think that's great. I think it's a testament to where we're at with this kind of knowledge now, because I've been doing videos on YouTube for 6 years, over 6 years now, and 6 years ago it wasn't like this. You wouldn't see a whole lot of people covering something like this. There'd just be a handful of us. But this awakening has taken place now on such a massive level that now you have tons of people out here that when they see something like this taking place, they're not just going to blow it off and think, oh, whatever, you know, they're just being creative. It's performance art. You know, these people are going to start looking deeper, because we must look deeper into a lot of these things that are happening. I mean, all of this really is lesser magic. We're literally seeing the Illuminati, or the hidden controllers, whatever term you want to place there. We're seeing their plans manifest right before our very eyes in a lot of these public ceremonies. I do think it's a good thing that more people are making videos about this stuff. I do think it's a good thing that more people are waking up. It doesn't mean I think that they're all right in their breakdowns and what they're seeing, but again, I'd rather have more people asking questions and being wrong here and there than being afraid to ask any kind of weird questions, you know, for fear of being singled out or seeming weird to the others, right? So I do have trusted sources, sources I've trusted for many years when it comes to online research. Of course, there's research we do outside of this, right? There's reading and whatnot we do. But when it comes to online resources, Vigilant Citizen has always been one of my favorite, and this is from Vigilant Citizen right here. This is one of the first images I found when I really started looking into the Gothard tunnel opening. And you can see right here the obvious switching of the T's. So again, we have that as above, so below. Inverted world symbolism, right? And that's just the beginning. I mean, the entire ceremony was seriously filled with all kinds of occult symbolism. So I'm going to read a little bit from Vigilant Citizen's article on this, and I'll actually leave a link below for you to check this out for yourself. Measuring over 57 kilometers and costing over 11 billion euros, the Gothard-based tunnel is the world's longest and most expensive tunneling project in history. Going through the Swiss Alps, the tunnel took 17 years to complete and is said to be a symbol of European unification in a context of rising nationalism and closing borders. To celebrate the inauguration of this tunnel, an elaborate ceremony was presented in front of European dignitaries such as Chancellor Angela Merkel of Germany, President François Hollande of France, and Italian Prime Minister Matteo Renzi. While most would expect an upbeat celebratory ceremony, guests were rather treated to a disturbing show, orchestrated by German director Volker Hesse, where a man dressed as a goat presided over the strange ritual. The ceremony began with workers dressed in orange walking slowly to the beat of a rhythmic military drum. There is something very New World Order to this militaristic portrayal of the working force. As the drums got more rhythmic, the workers got more excited, dancing around and jumping through loops. And then things got stranger. And what does all this have to do with the building of a tunnel? Mass media, in its vain attempts at explaining the ceremony, state that there are mountain goats in the Alps, which explains the goat man. But why is this goat man in such a position of power over the entire ceremony? Why are people bowing to him? The ceremony appeared to draw inspiration from local folk tales, specifically the legend of the Devil's Bridge, which goes through the Gothard Pass. The legend of this particular bridge states that the Ruis was so difficult to create that a Swiss herdsman wished the devil would make a bridge, and the devil appeared but required that the soul of the first to cross would be given to him. The mountaineer agreed, but drove a goat across ahead of him, fooling his adversary. Angered by this sham, the devil fetched a rock with the intention of smashing the bridge, but an old woman drew a cross on the rock so the devil could not lift it anymore. The rock is still there, and in 1977, 300,000 Swiss francs were spent to move the 220-ton rock by 127 meters in order to make room for the new Gothard Road Tunnel. So while the devil lost in legend, he appears to have won in the tunnel's opening ceremony. The second part of the ceremony took place outside and followed the same basic narrative, zombie workers going first, followed by people in their underwear rubbing up against each other to the welcome of Satan himself. So there's a few things going on here. I mean, once again, they really are showing their hand. More and more this stuff is becoming really obvious when they do these type of occult ceremonies out in public, especially connected to something like that tunnel. Now, the symbolism is really obvious there to me. It's all about the pit, right? The longest tunnel that man's ever created. This is all about the opening of the pit, and we find that connection to CERN, the same idea. It's about opening these portals, opening the pit. And over the last few years, there have been a lot of stories coming out in the news talking about this, about alternate timelines, parallel universes. Here's another story from about a year ago. Declassified FBI document shows proof of aliens from other dimensions. There have also been a couple other stories in the news over the last year or so that have kind of hinted at this idea of us actually seeing these other dimensions around us. You may remember this one. It was a parallel universe floating city, they called it here, appears over seaside. After reports of a city in the sky appearing to thousands of people in China, residents in sleepy Hastings have reported seeing a very similar apparition. I don't know how many of these stories are true or not. The point of the matter is that over the last year or so at least, we're seeing more of these stories come out. More of these stories popping out about different dimensions, right? Different realities. So we really are living in some crazy times. There are some really crazy things that seem to be happening all around us right now. That's why I think it's really important to remember to use our logic, our reason, our critical thinking, spiritual discernment, all of these resources we have to be using in these times. It's the idea that timelines really are changing. A lot of people think that CERN has some kind of a connection to this. A lot of people think that we have CERN messing around, of course, with the portals and dimensions. And while they're doing all this, it's causing these minor timeline shifts. And the way we're able to tell this is through, our memory. A lot of people are having these memories from a long time ago that don't seem to be adding up to what reality is now. And like I said, I've really been on the fence with a lot of this stuff. Some of it I find very interesting and it makes me wonder. And then other bits I'm seeing come about, I think it's people maybe losing it a little bit. But that's just me. This isn't a video trying to decipher how much of this stuff is real or how much of it isn't, because this whole story is still playing out right now. So I'm watching for things. I'm sure a lot of you are too. But let me go ahead and show you the main thing I wanted to show you. And I thought it was very interesting. It really stood out to me. It's the most solid connection I've seen between CERN and Mandela effect. What you're looking at here, well, this is basically kindergarten when it comes to symbolism for a lot of you, but that's the CERN symbol, and of course we know that's the 666 in there. This is the big connection that I saw in this between the Mandela effect and CERN. Again, I'm not the first person to see this. I've seen it discussed in a forum over the last few days, but I haven't really seen anybody make a video about this or put it out on YouTube or anything. So I wanted to share this with you. I thought it was really weird. It's from 2014. This is one of the scientists. He's got the puzzle piece up there behind him, and around his neck he's got a couple signs, and one of them is Mandela, and the other one says Bond number 1. Now here's a closer picture. It looks like he's holding up a little sign that says "We are happy at CERN." Anyway, I wanted to show that to you. I don't know if that's as much a mind blower to you as it was to me. I thought this was really, really crazy. What could Bond number 1 mean? Is the puzzle piece there for a reason? Is this more of the occult symbolism? Or maybe this is just a really strange synchronicity that we're catching. Again, this is from 2014, before all this stuff with Mandela effect, right? But isn't it interesting that right now, all over YouTube, all over the internet in general, people are drawing these connections between CERN and the Mandela effect? So I don't know, folks. I just wanted to share that with you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I thought it's very interesting. Like I said, these are strange times, man. I certainly believe that CERN's role in all this has to do with shifting the dimensions, timelines, opening portals, all that stuff. As for the Mandela effect stuff itself, as I said, some of it I think is very interesting. Other things I'm seeing people draw conclusions with on this Mandela effect, personally I think it's way too far out there. But then you have stuff like this. Then you have this strange little video here from a few years ago. You have the Mandela connected with CERN. I don't know, folks. It's up to you. I'd like to hear what you think about it. Anyway, that's the video. Thank you very much for checking it out, guys. I got more videos on the way. Take care, and I'll talk to you real soon.